Hey guys, this video is going to be a book review of Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I forgot to take the book with me to work. I'm doing this on my break. Elantris is Brandon Sanderson's first published work, and yeah, he's my favourite author now. It's just a fact of life. It's also the first of his various Cosmere series, all interlinking based on the same universe, even if they're not on the same planet. You can see my other reviews for Brandon Sanderson's books by clicking on the various thumbnails I'm putting around my face at the moment. I know, there's a lot of them, but I've been really enjoying all of them. Elantris was a city of dreams. The Elantrians that lived there were chosen by the strange force known as the Shroud to rule over the country of Arelon as magic-using demigods. However, 10 years ago, a cataclysmic event known as the Road happened, and the Elantrians and Elantris itself lost their power. The Elantrians' skin, which had previously been silvery, was turned blotchy and messy, and their hair all fell out, while they lost their powers, and they became functionally walking dead people, feeling only pain and hunger, and not being able to heal. Over the decades since, a new monarchy has taken over, set up by the merchants and created as a financocracy, where the most rich people have all the power. However, this kingdom, along with many others, are under threat by the religion of Shu-Dereth, a very powerful religion, very militaristic religion that has taken control over several countries in the name of their god Jadeth. An alliance with Arelon's nearest neighbour, Teod, is to be forged by the marriage of Prince Rauden of Arelon and Princess Serene of Teod. And this is where our story begins, because on the day before Rauden and Serene are going to meet for the first time in person, Rauden is taken by the Shroud and cast into Elantris, effectively now a city prison for the Elantrians. And as Serene arrives, so too does Hrathen, a powerful Derethi priest who seeks to bring Arelon into the Shu-Dereth fold. All three players face their own challenges, but will all of them prevail? Oh my god, I love Brandon Sanderson's work! I cannot seem to help but love everything that Brandon Sanderson writes. I had my suspicions before this book, but this book confirms it. This one does really confirm it, because I just loved this book. It was amazing! Basically, I loved nearly everything about this book. Setting, characters, themes. In particular, I felt that Rauden and his part of the storyline was particularly compelling. He views the Shroud, possibly the worst thing that could happen to someone, as a new and exciting way of learning new things. Rauden's optimism that the Elantrians can actually make things better again. He's challenging the status quo of the prison city to actually be better and make things better, and I think that that is just symbolic of the human condition in general. We as a species do have a tendency to fall into despair at the worst signs, whereas all it takes is a few people to actually move forward, and then more people will join them, and it suddenly becomes a thing and picks up momentum. I found that the theme of a little effort going a long way was quite compelling in the story, and in fact it seemed to bleed over into Serene's sections a bit as well, so I felt it was really quite good. Speaking of Serene, I found that she was a quite interesting and conflicting character in different ways. I found that she was a very strong and well-defined character in several ways. Her insistence that she was not going to leave the running of Arelon to the men, her passion to defend her religion and her way of life, her determination to keep ties with people of both genders, despite how one of them looked down on her. However, one thing that was slightly concerning for me is that she sort of seemed at times to be considered to be a strong female character because she could fight. And that is not the definition of a strong female character. She is a strong female character because she is a very well-defined person. We know about her passions and in her interests and what makes her tick as a person, whereas just thinking that she's a strong character because she can fight and fence. However, thinking on that, I didn't really have the same sort of criticism of Vin from the Mistborn books, so I'm kind of feeling a little bit of a hypocrite or something. I probably should have had that same sort of criticism on Vin, but not point on dwelling on that now. I also want to bring up that I felt that Hrathen was a nigh-perfect anti-villain. He started his redemption arc right at the end of the book, and I feel he did succeed, though he still gets labelled in my mind as an anti-villain. He was a very interesting character with lots of conflict in his thought process the entire time. It was really compelling to actually find out what he was thinking in different ways. And I also felt that he actually gave a face to the characters from the other side of the story from the main heroes, in that he was, on the baddies team for most of the book. And I don't think I remember that in another Sanderson book. I feel like that's been a really interesting addition. Lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about the magic systems of the world of Elantris, which were the Dark Orb, not understood very well at all, Che-Shan understood a little bit better, and the Aeon Door, the main one of the book itself. I felt that the magic systems in Elantris contrasted very well with the magic systems in the Stormlight Archive, which was based around a spiritual bond with a spirit, and the ones in Mistborn, which are focused on an innate triggered ability. Instead, the different magic systems focused on form and shape to create their magical effects, and seemed to have a bit of a greater ranger effect as well. I'm really fascinated to see what the inclusion of Sel and Elantris and the Elantrians is going to be on the Cosmere as a whole. Overall, I would say that I loved this book. It was brilliant, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and tell me what you thought of it in the comments below.
I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you remember to like and share it and subscribe to my channel. Click on the thumbnails above to see other videos by me, including my review of The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness, and my unboxing of March's Loot Crate, which had the theme of Versus. Bye!